Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. Today was wow. That's one word to be able to explain that. A lot of crazy stuff ended up happening today. So if you guys don't know, today is the anniversary of the first block when Bitcoin had gone out. So that was called the Genesis block. That was back on January 3rd of 2009, right? So now we're at 12 years, marking a huge benchmark because we actually set another all-time high for Bitcoin. Technically in the charts, I'm in the new day position, so I guess we're in the 5th day now, right? But it's still Pacific Standard Time for me, still January 3rd, so just kind of labeling it as I'm recording the video for you guys with this. So we're going to go over some news information as well as take a look at the charts. Most of the focus is going to be on the charts. I'm trying to pivot a little bit less on the news and the articles and what people are saying and more on the actual technical analysis. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that like button. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Loopring, we're going to be talking about Ethereum today. We'll take a look at XRP, Orchid, try to really dive into these charts quite a bit. And also if you guys can, click that bell icon so you know whenever we have a new video, and let's get right into it. First thing up is Vitalik Buterin, the guy who created Ethereum, has been leading and pivoting this whole position with that. One of the things that he said, which I thought was really interesting, one of the more underrated bull cases for cryptocurrency that I've always believed is simply the fact that gold is lame. The younger generations realize that it's lame and that $9 trillion has to go somewhere. Buterin wrote in a recent 2020 summary blog post referring to the total value of the world's mined gold. If the gold bets work, the Bitcoin bet will probably work better because it's thinner, more illiquid, and has a lot more beta to it. Billionaire investor Stanley Druckenmiller, who along with George Soros famously bet against the British pound in 1992 and made massive profits, said in November. We're now in a world where blockchains and cryptocurrencies are well poised to play an important part, though for reasons much more complex than many people think, and having as much to do with cultural forces as anything financial. Buterin wrote, arguing, public blockchain-based solutions will just keep quietly moving forward and gaining actual adoption. Next up, stocks and Bitcoin are massive bubbles. This is according to David Rosenberger, what he's warning, right? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that these are just big bubbles, or do you think that we're actually going to see a continuation on? Because a lot of other people are suggesting that it's actually going to keep going on, as can actually be stated through here, through the Wall Street Journal, which is basically completely contradicting the previous statement, right? From stocks to Bitcoin, investors bet the everything rally will continue. Very interesting to see two different article positions and, you know, the sentiment behind people's mentality with this. A historic 9-month advance is raising expectations that coronavirus vaccines and stimulus programs will keep markets surging in 2021. So again, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that prices are going to continue to go up? Are we going to see another massive crash? Do you think that the recovery happened too fast? If you just want my opinion, because I'm not a financial advisor, just keep that in mind, guys. But if you want my opinion on this, I think that the rally occurred very fast and rapid, and I was very skeptical about it at first. And I was expecting what's called a dead cat bounce and for it to have another massive drop. But with the massive amount of federal printing to prop everything up and the way that that was kind of poised, I think that is causing it a lot less likely to have another significant crash right now. But the next time that we do crash, which is probably going to happen, you know, another 5-10 years from now, because it goes in these cycle periods, that's going to hit really hard. And on top of it too, now we have massive inflation. So the prices of stocks and everything else are going to be propped up and looking like they're good, but now the cost of living is also going to go up, and it's a lagging indicator because of how the money goes into circulating supply. Bitcoin could quadruple in 2021 as the digital currency sees a rally similar to 2017, Fundstrat's Tom Lee says. Bitcoin's near 300% surge in 2020 could be followed up by an even stronger performance in 2021, according to Fundstrat's Tom Lee. In an interview with CNBC on Wednesday, Lee said Bitcoin could quadruple in 2021 as the crypto asset experiences a similar parabolic setup that occurred in 2017. 2021 is going to be a lot like 2017, which means Bitcoin should do even better in 2021 than it did in 2020. So something above 300%, Lee told CNBC. I mean, that'd be absolutely amazing. They're talking about down here pushing past $29,000, which we are above, right? That would put it well above $100,000 mark, like around $116,000, which would be amazing. Bitcoin crossed $34,000. It almost hit $35,000 earlier. and that's on its 12th generation, its 12th anniversary of the Genesis block. Next up is we have the layer 2 system. This is like the next step in evolution of cryptocurrency, and this highlights a little bit of that info. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this for you guys. This year, the technologies around layer 2 have matured dramatically. On Ethereum, this has taken the form of DeFi projects being built on rollups, off-chain aggregations of transactions inside an Ethereum smart contract consisting of both optimistic rollups and zero-knowledge proofs of ZK rollups. When performing transactions on a rollup, the only confirmations made on Ethereum are in aggregate, meaning that for the vast majority of transactions, Ethereum's native currency doesn't need to be involved at all. Such a move significantly alters the importance of the underlying chain. On Bitcoin, DeFi applications are being rolled out on Lightning Network and sidechains such as RSK. 2020 was also the year that interchain solutions such as Polkadot, Near, and Cosmos went live, effectively as layer 2 solutions for Bitcoin and Ethereum connected via blockchain bridges. For instance, Sovereign, a decentralized Bitcoin trading and lending platform, takes advantage of Bitcoin Layer 2 technology while deploying a bridge to the Ethereum ecosystem, keeping its native currency as Bitcoin and giving primacy, I think it meant privacy? And giving primacy to stablecoins results in a solution that is faster, cheaper, more secure, and easy to use. What this means is that the primacy of the chain is diminishing fast. Well, I used the word twice there. I haven't seen that word before, primacy. Hopefully I'm even saying it correctly. Now let's go take a look over on Twitter, and looking at Bitcoin, you can see a lot of the people are sharing this. You got Anthony Pompliano, Michael Saylor, even Document Bitcoin right here. And so the article is going to be published tomorrow. This is for the Financial Times, and bam, right at the top, the very first thing that you're seeing is a highlight on Bitcoin. You can even see the big Bitcoin symbol right there. So it's really nice to see that they're starting off their articles highlighting Bitcoin and the fact that Bitcoin is on such a run, and it's a positive sentiment behind Bitcoin, right? Okay, now let's go and take a look at the charts. So looking at Bitcoin here on the previous day, you see that we had a massive rally take place, ran all the way up just under $35,000. That's around $34,850-ish dollars, right? So right around in that range right there, or 34,800. And then it had a massive depletion down, correcting all throughout the course of that time, then leading into the new daily candle formation, which we're now 4:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So a little over 17 minutes as of the time of me recording this video. And you can see that we are a little bit in the red. It actually had dropped even further down. There was a point where already in the course of the day, dropping below $33,000 down to $32,717. Quite a significant candle on the bottom, the wick on the bottom, as you guys can see, in comparison to the previous day. Already this wick is deeper than the previous day. Just take that into account. Same thing, it's already deeper, or it's about maybe as deep as back on January 2nd. So a significant decline. We have 7 days in a row of positive green candles closing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on the 8th day, question is going to remain, are we going to continue to see nothing but green, or are we going to have some days of cool off and some pullback? It's normal to see days of sell off as things rally, because you need a little bit of a pullback. Otherwise, as they say, you take the stairs up and the elevator down, and the crash is going to be really hard. But you can also argue and say that with these massive wicks that are taking place, such as like back here on December 31st, that it's essentially on the verge of being a red daily candle, and there was a lot of selling pressure that took place. But after all that selling pressure took place, a lot of people then decided to go ahead and buy it back. It wasn't just buying sentiment, right? And that's a big thing I think people should really keep in mind too. If it's nothing but buying sentiment, then yeah, you should expect a massive sell-off to take place. But if both buying and selling sentiment are occurring simultaneously, and progressively there's just slightly more buying sentiment than the selling pressure, you could still have significant selling pressure. It just means that the buying pressure is so high because the level of demand, and when you're given into a circumstance like Bitcoin, you have a certain limitation on supply, obviously, because of the 21 million total Bitcoin, and we're not even at 21 million yet, right? And reportedly, you take into account other things. Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet, how much does he have in possession? Like a million, 1.5 million Bitcoin reportedly, right? So if it's right around that number, out of 21 million, you already got to check that off. That hasn't moved like many years. We don't even know if Satoshi's still alive. Is it possible that it could move? Yeah, people should be prepared if it does, right? And a lot of people are concerned if it ever does. But the fact that it still hasn't moved even up to this point kind of says a lot. And I think it's very interesting that absolutely nothing has moved, even during the last major rally. And then you also take into account all the other people in the early days that didn't really take Bitcoin seriously. They threw away their hard drives, or maybe they've died because now we're 12 years into this, right? 12, that's over a decade. A lot of people could have passed on from old age, disease, COVID, you know, like go on accidents. Lots of things could have happened. People losing their wallets, a hack or something. They never got their money back on these things. You got lots of things to really go into account with this. So anyways, looking at this, you can see right now we're above the $33,000 mark, which is a very key level of support from a psychological standpoint. The previous day's closure was at just a little bit above 33,000, almost 33,100. So we're starting to see a rally continue back up. Needs to break above that psychological level of the $33,300 level, continuing up around the $34,800 level and hitting probably 34,900. A lot of people have been talking about that from like a Fibonacci sequence position. Excuse me. I have to relook at where exactly it is that they've got that set up for that, but I've got mine on a Fibonacci retracement level right here. So let me see if they actually, did they just reverse this? Let's go ahead and try and drop these two positions around. And looking at where the previous day candle was, this isn't going to be as accurate as what I would like. I don't think I'm setting this one up correctly. We're just going to ignore this one for now. In fact, if anything, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. I'll look at it again later, and I'll cover it in the next video tomorrow. Sound good, guys? So anyways, yeah, a lot of people are speculating that right around 33,000, or sorry, 39,000. 39,000. That was actually the range that I was talking about. 39,000. Maybe that's why I didn't see it quite right there. But 39,000 is a significant level on a Fibonacci retracement, reportedly from different resources, and people are concerned, saying that that could be where people decide to start selling off, and we could see a bit of a pullback. We're already seeing now it flipping back into the red. So again, there's a lot of buying pressure and there's a lot of selling pressure. It's not all one-sided right now. I'm a little bit concerned because there is a lot of push going on with Ethereum, at least as of the last day. And one, it could be a pump and dump situation for Ethereum, which we're going to take a look at in a second. But two, also could be that people are going to start selling off their Bitcoin, taking their profits because they see the massive rally occurring with Ethereum and they want to jump on that bandwagon. So that's going to actually start to shift the market dominance also for Bitcoin, and could actually lead then into the altcoin season as typically is suggested towards early January from a historical standpoint, right? Just looking at what's going on with Bitcoin a little bit more here. If this decides to have a further continuation down, key level is $32,000, right below the $33,000. We're basically working in $1,000 increments, so I would be concerned if it drops below that. If it has a very massive decline, then the 21 EMA is at 26,754. I'd be looking at as a major bottom, as a major level of support. That is a very long way down, so the chances of that happening are very slim, but you never know. I mean, look at things that happened back in March. This kind of stuff can happen, right? So keep that in mind, right? Can you imagine, even if it drops down to $26,754, that's still above the 2017, 2018 all-time high, the $20,000. It's still massively above that. It's still above $25,000. And that's if it was a huge drop right now to occur. So we're in a pretty good position. If it had a massive retracement from where it's currently at, in comparison, it's still significantly up from where it was all time, all years before. Let's see if it can break into the $35,000 range. If it break above the $35,000 range, then psychologically you start to believe that it has a lot more momentum and potential to actually go to 40K, because now you're at $5,000 mark, right? So using the rule of 5, I think, is something that's really important from a psychological standpoint. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Ethereum now. Looking over at Ethereum, you can see that the previous day had actually topped over not only $900, but even $1,000. At one point hitting $1,016 and then having a bit of a retracement back down. Where it is currently at right now is struggling, trying to fight its way back past the $1,000 level. You can also see that the level of volume down here on the bottom zone, right down here, you can see massive candle. I mean, absolutely insane candle here for green, so there was very little selling pressure taking place. A lot of people deciding to hop on in too. If you go look at the order books on things like Coinbase Pro, stuff like that, you can even see there's a significant lean towards higher prices for Ethereum than there is for the lower. But as it is right now, there's still that back and forth action. So a lot of people rallying and pushing behind this. The all-time high you're actually looking back is going to be around the $1,400 range. So this was back in this time period when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, right? So $1,400 would be absolutely amazing, and breaking above that, people have sentiments suggesting that they think that Ethereum could go to $5 grand, 10 grand, very feasibly. Some people are even suggesting that we could see a $50,000 Ethereum at some point. Let me know if you guys think that that sounds probable, potential to you guys at all. So leave your thoughts and opinions on that down in the comments below. And with where we are currently at, $974, that puts us right at this red zone. So we actually broke above these two level of shoulders from this previous position. And right now what's really interesting is if we zoom in here a bit, as you can see that red dotted line just a little bit, it's actually resting right on the top position of what looks to be almost like a shoulder right here, right? So you could consider this being one major shoulder back at this point in time, and then the other shoulder being right here, and then the top of the head obviously being right up in this point. So the fact that we are here, this is causing itself to be a major level of resistance. We can break above the $1,000 range, then I would actually be more concerned about the next major level, which looks to be right about here, which is at $1,174. We got another little bit of a resistance set up at this point at $1,225. And then finally, being that close, I would realistically look at the $1,435 level as a major form of resistance. And also, let's go ahead and go back over to the Ethereum side on the more recent daily candle position. If it decides it wants to have a retracement back down, we could actually see it dipping all the way down to the 21 EMA at $725. We actually had that dollar price 2 days ago. So it wasn't very long ago, the 21 EMA with this massive green candle. Pump and dump situations happen, guys. It is what it is. So, you know, even though it's Ethereum and a lot of people are saying that $1,400, we should have already been there, anything can technically happen. Let's go look at the next coin. Let's go look at Orchid. And then right after this, I would say let's look at Litecoin and Litecoin, Loopring, and some other ones. We're going to keep this pretty short for these other ones. Loopring did really good, so I'll try to go a little bit more in depth in that one. Looking at Orchid, we're still in this symmetrical triangle pattern, as you guys can see. A little bit of selling pressure from the previous day. On the new daily formation, we are a bit up, and it is getting very close to trying to tap that 21 EMA, as we've seen. Trying to break above it and establish above it has been a very significant task for for Orchid in its previous history here. Now that Ethereum is showing some rallying, we could start to see a lot of the other ERC20 tokens, such as Orchid, starting to make a major move as well. So that's the hope. I still believe in this project quite considerably, but it is significantly down from its all-time high. It is, I mean, its all-time high was $1. Excuse me, by the way. Its all-time high was $1. We saw this massive decline. So you're looking at a 4x, more than a 4x, going back to its all-time high of $1 from where it's currently at. That's if it decides to do that, right? A lot of people suggest that it was a pump and dump situation. There are a lot of key signs behind that. But at the same time, the massive sell-off, I've been tracking this historically. Unfortunately, when Bitcoin has tanked during this previous period, it was when Orchid was just starting to have some good news, getting listed on Binance, getting listed on another exchange, faster speeds, the translation in Korean. They had more of their tokens being released. You know, it goes on and on and on. OKEX, all this crazy stuff. And so looking at this, if it decides to continue moving sideways, we could push all the way to January 7th before it has a key decisive move that it really needs to do. If it does go even further off sideways, these aren't really that reliable of points. Like if I pull this candle, the top of the, if I take the top of the level of the resistance and I was to say drag it all the way across here, well, that's only 2 points of reference. You got your all-time high, the $1 range, and then right here. Not very significant for showing a trend pattern. using something like this seems to be much more sufficient, as we have way more points of reference that are showing an actual trend pattern, right? So I think the likelihood of it pushing past January 7th is quite minimal. Maybe January 8th, but anything past that, I don't really see it happening. So we got to make one decision or another. It's either going to start rallying up, going up, or it's going to start rallying down. And given the sentiment behind the actual token itself, besides the pump and dump situation, it's got a principal utilage, right? It's got a bright, promising future for new updates that they plan on doing. Pretty much all of the staff tokens and their releases to the early investors has now been established. A lot of those people came in around a 50-cent range, 75-cent range. Even if they've been dollar cost averaging, that's still quite a bit above where we're currently at. So I would not be surprised to see this actually push up into a higher direction. On the daily candle, we're still pretty early in, right? So it could have a lot of movement to go, but if it decides it wants to keep just consolidating, going sideways, January 7th would be a key point. Looking at the bottom zone, 22 cents, 0.2261. Rise above, we have that level of resistance, which rests right on the 21 EMA. Interesting, which is 24 cents, 0.2420. Further continuation up out of that, I would actually be looking at trying to enter into this previous consolidated zone, which is actually right around 26 cents. And then if it can manage to outbreak that zone, it'd be at 30 cents or 32 cents specifically, 0.3231. Managing to break above that, then we're getting back into previous Fibonacci levels like the 0.5 right here. So it has quite a ways for potential growth. Curious to see how this continues to play out. If it rallies too hard, we have historically seen this being a pump and dump situation. So it'd be kind of nice to see it rallying at a little bit of a slower pace, but the fact that we're so close to a breakout, it's expected for it to go massively up in one direction or another. We'll have to see how things play out. And then you actually go take a look over here in historical trends we saw in these daily charts that it did have some massive gains, 1, 2, 3 days in a row of massive gains, to be specific. Not just one day pump and dump, it was 3 days consecutively. So very interesting. Decides it wants to drop further down, I'd still look at a bottom right around 21 cents at this range of a major level of support. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Loopring. Loopring, as you guys can see, had a massive rally the previous day, and it's already starting to show signs of a pump and dump situation. Typically, smaller priced coins can be highly manipulated in this kind of fashion, so do keep that in mind. Dropping right down to 25 cents as of the current moment. The previous day was actually at 31 cents. So we're already seeing a significant decline, 6-cent decline in just the course of 32 minutes, right? Well, technically from its previous all-day high. So yesterday it closed out at 29 cents. So we're seeing about a 3-cent decline. Still pretty significant for a 30-minute time frame. And you can see that if it decides it wants to drop back down, the 21 EMA position is right on the 18-cent mark, 0.1888. That would be a high level of a bounce probability. As we can see here, we did start to break above the 21 EMA. You can also see the Bollinger Band starting to open up quite wide as of that previous candle position. So for it to immediately squeeze right back down, can it happen? Yeah, it can. You can even see here, though, that with this massive candle up and a bit of a retracement that took place and then sideways action, that band was still pretty wide and it worked itself up more towards an upwards trend. You can see the RSI suggesting that it's being significantly overbought. As of right now, though, it is being pushed back down into a median zone. And this is a little bit of a lagging indicator, but it is suggesting that for the previous day it was overbought. And as you guys can clearly see, it was significantly bought. Bitcoin is having a bit of a drop down right now, $32,500. I'm keeping an eye on it on the side, as you guys can actually see on this chart right here. So quite a drop taking place, some buying action taking place there too. Again, I think it might be going into the altcoins. We'll have to see, unless there's some other crazy news that I don't know about. Leave me a note in the comments down below what you guys think about that. If we could break above 31 cents, then we have, in comparison, looking back at the historical records, looks like, according to this chart, 37 cents. If we can break above 37 cents, 38 cents, boom. All-time highs, setting a huge precedence, right? Still got quite a ways to go. Nice little rally up from the previous day, but it is suggesting that it is a pump and dump situation right now. So just be very cautious of it. I would actually be looking right around the median zone You know, you draw like a little line right here in the median space. So if it goes right around 24 cents or so, then you're already looking about a 50% retracement from the previous day's candle position. And that should be a bit concerning for you. There might be a little bit of a bounce taking place at that point in time, but we'll have to see. Right now it is trying to fight itself a little bit. But yeah, that was a huge candle position from the previous day. Now let's go ahead and look at Litecoin very briefly. Very briefly, Litecoin hitting another high position at a $165 from the previous day. Currently, it is also down, showing red. A lot of things are showing red with the new candle formation in its position. So if this can go up, then we're going to be looking at $190. This is a level of resistance and a key level of support right around $147. Like I said, I'm just keeping it very brief at this point. And I think I'm actually covering too many of the coins, to be honest with you guys. Let me know if you think I should keep it condensed down to a couple more. And then looking at XRP, you can see it actually had a green rally up yesterday, which I find kind of interesting given all the news and things going on. But we're moving into a little bit of a consolidated space here, a bit of a red action going on. Bitcoin is continuing to see a little bit of a decline over on its side. If XRP does decide it wants to drop further down, 17 cents is a significant level of support, but even further below that, we're going to be looking at 11 cents or 0.1122. If it can manage to rally up, the 21 EMA is going to be a major deciding point, which is at 32 cents or 0.3281. And then a further break above that would actually start to put it back into a little bit of this consolidated space range, which I would actually be looking at right around here. And that would be at 44 cents. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go and wrap up the video here, guys. I believe that's everything. Let's go take a look at Ethereum real quick one more time just to see if there's anything that happened with that. Still showing some red action going on, drop down. So it looks like a lot of things are in the red currently, except we were seeing Orchid was actually up at the moment, wasn't it? Yeah, Orchid is like going the opposite direction as everyone else. So that does it for this video. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes if possible. Every video that I do here, every single like, greatly appreciated. Definitely helps us out. If you can, click the bell icon as well so that you know whenever there's a new video. Leave any comment down below, even if you just want to say hi. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next episode.